And speaking of pops in the corner, George Kambosas Jr. this past Saturday winning a unanimous decision over Teofimo Lopez. I was just as shocked as anybody. I've seen Kambosas fight a couple of times. He's a good fighter. He's definitely a good fighter. I didn't think he was, a soft touch, but I definitely didn't think Teo was going to lose this fight. And, it was really amazing. He came out in that first round, Lopez, and was just swinging and reaching and swinging and reaching. And, some of them were landing, but most of them weren't. It was all kind of predictable. And you could even see Kambosas, he wasn't stressed out about it. He was kind of ready for it. And then at the end of the first round, Kambosas lands the perfect overhand right and puts Teo right on his ass. And it changes the whole mood of the fight. The whole mood of the fight changed after that knockdown because Lopez clearly thought he was just going to walk this down, body him, out physical him, and just get him out of there quick. And in an attempt to do that, not really respecting what this guy's bringing to the table, he got floored. You know what I mean? That's boxing. That's what can happen. If you don't respect your opponent, they'll make you fucking respect them. So after that, it was kind of a slow build, but from the second round on, it just felt like Kambosas got a little bit more of an understanding of what he wanted to do and was just letting his hands go a little bit more every round. And Lopez's approach never changed. He spent the whole fight reaching and swinging with wild shots. There was so many times where he's just like, he wasn't using his feet to get near him. He was reaching with his jab. He was reaching with everything. I mean, it was just straight up slot. To me, he really did look bad. It wasn't like a off night. He looked bad. He didn't look focused. And again, every round he's going back to his corner and his pops is telling him you got to walk him down. Good round. You're not losing this fight. And then after the fight, they're both talking like it was, fucking robbery. I'll get more into that in a little bit. So down the stretch of the fight, Lopez starts to get a little more momentum, catches Kambosas, puts him down in the 10th round, and there's definitely, there's possibly an opportunity there for Lopez to stop him, and he doesn't take it. And Kambosas gets through the round, and if anything, closes the show really strong, and just had his number. When I was watching, I was like, this is just two different, hunger levels. You know what I'm saying? This is two different levels of focus. Kambosas is just in the zone, for real in the zone. And Lopez is kind of, maybe there's a little ring rust in there. But I think really what it is every time he was going back to this corner, his dad's not giving him real boxing advice. You got to step with a double jab. You got to get body to body to him, and you got to make him feel you physically. You got to make this a dog fight, and telling him how to get to that, because it could have been there for him. But the combination of Kambosas boxing so well and him not really getting good advice in the corner and kind of smiling and winking and sticking his tongue out, and then after the fight, I won 10 rounds of this fight. Bro, he maybe won 4 rounds. I mean, tops he won 4 rounds. You know what I'm saying? He really kept his hands in his pocket and just could not close the distance on this guy. And there was just these big gaps where he's not letting anything go. Just looking for the perfect shot, looking for that one shot that's gonna, that's really gonna hurt him. And it wasn't there. He wasn't giving it to him. Lopez was going to have to create that. Kambosas wasn't going to give it to him. And so, I think I scored the fight. I might even scored it 116, 110. Honestly, I just thought that Lopez was so ineffective and unwilling to close the distance, and his offense was not consistent. It just wasn't consistent, and Kambosas was. You know, he was letting his hands go and landing good, clean shots. You know, he definitely landed the cleaner shots. And I think Lopez's face kind of told that story. That, like, with all the fucking, he's not hurting me, and, but, you know, the machismo bullshit, you know, your face is kind of tells the story of who won. Especially in that kind of fight. You know, and it was a good fight. But the combination of how poorly he fought and then what a shitty fucking loser both of those guys were, I just lost a lot of respect for them. And I think, like, that's a perfect example of, you know, he beat Lomachenko, and that was a great performance. I don't know if he really beat him, but whatever. He got the win in it, and he did so much better than anybody thought he was going to do. It was tremendous. You know, and then he doesn't fight for 13 months. And I don't know what's going on for him in that 13 months, you know, but coming back and expecting that, you know, after this, he's looking past being at 135. He's going to fight Josh Taylor. He's definitely just looking beyond where he's at, you know, and this is what can happen. And now you go to the back of the fucking line. You know what I mean? You just do. When you're that heavily favored and you lose, you're going to go to the back to the fucking line a little bit. And this is also why it's so important, you know, the four kings at lightweight or whatever. You know, it is important that these guys fight each other, because the longer you're around, the more tough guys you fight, you are going to lose. That's boxing. And this is a sport nowadays where having that one, you know, does hurt your branding a little bit. And it shouldn't, but that is part of it. So, you know, you lose out on good fights like Lopez Haney, Lopez Garcia, Lopez Tank Davis. You know, when you're unwilling to make those fights while they're hot, you know, they don't stay hot forever. They just don't. People are going to lose interest. Guys are going to get bigger, move up in weight, which also, you know, I hope Lopez does move up in weight now. He's clearly way too big to be at lightweight. And I think if he's going to do anything really moving forward, he's going to have to move up to 140. I think he's got to get a new trainer. I think he really does need to get a new trainer. I don't know, you know, moving up in weight is going to be great for him. But if he's not getting, like, some better advice in the corner, some more level-headed boxing advice, this fight threw me for a loop. I'm really like, I don't know what the fuck this kid does now. You know what I mean? It wasn't, for me, and I think for a lot of people, it wasn't really even on my radar that Kambosas could give him a tough fight. Maybe that's me underestimating Kambosas, but anything I've seen from Lopez, you know, I just figured that he'd be able to make an adjustment. Even if Kambosas was doing some things well, which he did everything well, I kept thinking that Teo was going to kind of see his moment or see the thing that was going to get him there. And I thought in round 10, he almost found it, and he just couldn't sustain it for that last 3 rounds to, you know, really close the show strong. So I truly have no idea what's next for him. For Kambosas, I mean, he's got, I think, 3 of the major belts now. So he's become the guy. I mean, I would love to see him in Lomachenko. I would love to see him in any of those other top guys, Tank, Garcia, the winner of Haney and Jojo Diaz, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. You know, I would love to see him against any of these guys, and I think his stock has to go up enormously, even though I think Lopez's poor performance was a big part of it. But his stock has to go up because he stayed confident and calm, you know, in that line of fire, and fucking took over the takeover. You know, he took over the takeover. That's exactly what he did. But I think that unless it's a Lomachenko and his dad kind of situation, it's not good to have your pops in the corner, man. It's just not. It doesn't work. You know, it can get you to a certain level, and then, you know, it's like it works when things are going good. I don't think it works that great when things are going bad. And in boxing, that's always going to happen at some point. Shit's not always going to go your way. And I would think about somebody like Roger Mayweather, in a round where, like, maybe Floyd didn't have the best round. He never freaked out. And that's not his dad. That's his uncle. And it's still family. But even he was able to kind of step back one and just kind of like calmly tell him what he needed to do. And I don't see guys like Kenny Porter and Teofimo Lopez's pops. I don't see them as those guys. They're very connected to their son's success emotionally. It's a part of them. And I don't think they can see the forest from the trees. I really don't.